and welcome to another episode of Industry Celebrities. My name is Kimberly Scott. Industry Celebrities is a podcast where I interview industry professionals in any industry, and I ask them questions about their industry or their passion. Plus, the guests will share a little advice to their younger self, which is always fun and interesting. If you want to tune into other episodes, you can do so by going to thatkimberly.com/combo to choose which platform you prefer to listen to, either on iTunes, Spotify, Google, YouTube, and even now, Alexa. So now that I got that out of the way, I want to introduce today's guest, my friend and colleague, Miss Marcie Williams. Hi, Marcie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me and taking time out today. How is everything in your world?
I'm living the dream. No complaints in my world.
Well, that's great to hear. I'm always happy when I hear that. So tell the listeners what industry you're in and how long you've been in the industry.
No problem. So I am in the multifamily industry, the apartment industry.
Yes.
And I've been in the industry over 25 years.
Wow.
So I started really, I wouldn't say at the bottom. I just really started at the core part of our business.
Okay.
Which is a leasing professional.
Was that with Camden when I met you, or was that before Camden?
I was actually with Summit Properties.
Okay,
That's really where I got my start.
Okay.
And
yeah, you were
Camden,
regional with Camden. I'm sorry. I was like, that's way far back then, Summit, for sure.
I know. I think we met in like 2005.
Yes.
So by that point, I'd really been in the industry close to 15 years at that point.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
So I know, right? But really, I mean, I started out as a leasing consultant for Summit Properties in Charlotte and North Carolina, and really just grew my career from there. And I mean, I've really been in a lot of positions within the industry, but currently, I'm the president of KW Residential based out of Charlotte.
Awesome. And did you just kind of fall into the industry or get into the industry and then never get out of, like we always say?
Yeah, right. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I never really heard of this industry, even though in college I leased apartments and I, lived in apartments and paid my rent. And, I certainly was my lifestyle. But when I graduated college, before I could really figure out what I wanted to do, and this is not a glamorous story, by the way, it's just how it happened. I was bartending, and one of the regular customers was in commercial real estate. And he just said to me, what you'd be really good at is real estate. And so I was like, tell me more. And he actually brought me a magazine of the top 50 real estate companies in the country at that time. So this was in the really early 90s. And my degree is in journalism and advertising.
Okay.
So I really started out wanting to do that in real estate. I don't know, to be honest with you, I was really just trying to make something up because I had somebody that said I'd be good at real estate and my degree is in advertising. And I thought, well, maybe I could work for like a property management company and do advertising for this company. And I sent my resume to a lot of different companies and I interviewed with Summit Properties and I got a job as a leasing consultant. And honestly, I wasn't really sure what I'd be doing, but I was good at it.
Yeah.
And that's really why
it worked.
stuck
It was
with
working.
it because, honestly, I mean, people would come in looking for an apartment and Summit had great sales training, but it really was, someone said, I want a 1-bedroom and I want it to overlook the pool, and I would show it to them. And then they would say, well, I'm not really sure. And honestly, I would say, well, I don't understand. You said you wanted a 1-bedroom overlooking the pool and I showed it to you. Now, why don't you take it? And they're like, yeah, you're right. So I was good at it and it was easy for me.
Yeah.
And then I never left because the job was, I enjoyed it and it was easy. Crazy enough. I mean, it's not an easy job, but for me, it just felt easy. Yeah. It felt easy.
Yeah. The fact that you're saying it's not an easy job, we all know in multifamily, every day is different. There's always, juggling multiple balls, no matter whether you're at the site level or you're at the corporate level. So,
Of course.
or if you're a supplier, or if you're on the, it doesn't matter either. If you're on the supplier or if you're on the management side, it's definitely always a different day. That's what I love the most about it. So now you're at RKW Residential, and you all have been in business for how long now?
5 years.
Well, what was that like starting from scratch? Because that's
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Throughout my career, I've worked at amazing companies. I mentioned Summit Properties. I worked for Camden Property Trust. I worked for Greystar. And so this was a startup that really was born from two other companies. I mean, the partners have their own businesses that are related to multifamily,
okay.
and wanted to create a multifamily management company. And they recruited me. And with all my industry experience, I really felt in my heart that I knew what the right thing to do was to build the company.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what kind of systems and processes that we needed. I knew what types of people that we needed to be successful. But when I started, it really was just me. I had an office by myself, and we actually had a few properties at the time,
So
but there really was
totally 100% from scratch, if you will, because they were in the industry already, just on a different side, would you say?
Yeah. So two of the partners came from and still have a condo management business where they manage 80,000 condo units. And the other partner was a broker and sold multifamily housing. And he also has a self-storage business. So they all have real estate background. And again, we had a few properties that we were managing, but honestly, without any policies, procedures, protocols, and really much of a system. But I was able really to piggyback off of, some of their established systems that they had, an HR department and an accounting department.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it wasn't just me out of my garage. So I was able to pull from their companies to build the best multifamily, business from utilizing what they had. So starting with them. But really those properties, they were all in Florida and I was in Charlotte.
Okay.
So we didn't have any here and really just had a handful there. So we really, to this day, we don't manage any of those assets anymore. So everything that we brought on has been new to the organization.
Okay. What did you enjoy the most about that period?
I would say just putting my thumbprint on it. Again, there's a lot of satisfaction of knowing what the right thing is to do and having the support of actually
Mm-hmm.
getting it done.
Yeah.
And when I joined the company, that was really important to me, to be able to have a voice and to be able to execute my ideas. And again, it's not really, I would say, my ideas per se, that everything is based off of what Marcie thinks. It's really just to be able to collaborate with everybody in RKW to come up with the best practices, honestly. And so that's what was great about it. And that's what was hard about it. I mean, people would say, hey, how's your job? How's it going? And like, it is the best and hardest thing I've ever done. I mean, it's not easy. And I'm doing things that I really hadn't done before, where
Mm-hmm.
I am overseeing the HR department and I'm overseeing the accounting department. And, I know how to do operations on the operations side, but I've been introduced to a lot of new aspects of the business,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just the properties themselves.
Yeah.
So I thought I was an old dog that knew everything. And really, I'm still an old dog.
No, you're
but
not.
I've still learned a lot. Again, not just about the business of real estate and the management business itself. And honestly, that's been one of the most rewarding things.
Well, I can tell you that I know how hard a startup can be. There's a quote that somebody that I always follow says that, nothing great is ever easy. And
right.
It is 100% rewarding. So it sounds like you definitely have enjoyed the process of, going from startup to fully out there and rolling and going. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I would say I'm rolling and going, but I don't know. It's like a snowball, really. It's not that I'm trying to be the biggest one out there. I'm trying to be the best out there, honestly. Mm-hmm. And so there's always new things that we are trying to change within our company. Even the things that we started with, when we first wrote our policies and procedures, we've gone back and reviewed and said, why did we do that? or, what were we thinking at the time? Because those systems and processes can become outdated in this industry that's really fast paced.
Yeah. Now I was going to say, but you don't know what you don't know. You have to try something and taste something to even move forward. Would you not agree?
Absolutely. I mean, really, we just have to go with, I think part of being any successful business person or, helping to create a successful business is really using your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what we did was just, it was, does this feel right? Is that using, having a gut check to make sure this is what you want to do within the organization. And then, if it's not working, having the experience to know when to make a change.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. So what do you enjoy the most about our industry in general, multifamily?
I would say just the ever-changingness of it. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is always changing and for the better. I don't think this is an industry that's moving backwards at all. It still has a ways to go, and we're always helping people find homes for their life changes, whether it's a good life change, if it's a bad life change, we, help people as well. I love that about the industry. And really, I love that it's collaborative. And I think you mentioned it earlier in the podcast about the suppliers and the support that people in our industry get. And our company could not do what we do without our suppliers and with the support of, other industry peers and just really of our team members. Nobody can be successful on their own, and no company can survive without a great culture. And I think that's has been one of my favorite parts about growing and helping to grow this company is helping not only our clients who have helped make us successful by, allowing us to manage their communities, but also the suppliers that have helped us be successful by, getting the best products to our clients. And all of the people that have come on board, honestly, I've been really humbled just by them taking a chance on me and the company and allowing them to put their thumbprint on it, which is really rewarding, which is
exciting.
So rewarding for me too.
Yeah, and exciting for sure. It's always evolving, and that's an exciting thing in any business, really. But when you're at the ground floor of it and your thumbprint along with everyone else's that, started with you at that point, thumbprint it's one of those humbling moments, when you look back and you go, yeah. And you think, through all that time. So
I know. Well, we look back and we laugh at a lot of things, we were like, oh, we were so silly when we did, A, B, and C, but it helped us grow, either those things were successful or we made a change based off of it. But, I've been in, as I said, in this business for a really long time. And it's just what I feel really lucky about is being in the operations side of things. Every company and every property needs smart operations, and so in good times and in bad times, and I've lived through all of them, you always need somebody to operate the property. And that's why I think that, a management company is so important with these multifamily buildings, because you need it. During the, downturn, maybe there wasn't as much development, there wasn't as much acquisitions or dispositions. There wasn't a lot of activity from that perspective of the market, but you still had to have somebody manage the communities.
And you still need, somebody still needs to live in the communities. So
that's exactly right.
Quote unquote recession. I don't know if it's totally a recession proof, but I think multifamily, we managed pretty well through that time, that downturn.
No, I agree. It wasn't fun. I was working for Camden at the time, and, they were great leaders within that organization that kept everyone's spirit up. And, it wasn't the first time they've been through a recession, so they knew what to expect. And that really taught me a lot. I think people, you learn a lot about people in a company when times are bad. When things are good, everybody's happy, things are humming along. But when things go bad, it's really having the leadership to get you through those bad times that can really define a company.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great segue to my one standing question to this podcast. And that would be, what would you tell your younger self?
I'd probably say, I'd say three things really. One is surround yourself with cheerleaders. I mean, surround yourself with people that support you throughout your career, because you're going to need them, like in good times and in bad times. You know, when you come home from work, you need to be able to have somebody in your life that you can share your day with. And, you know, it's a great day or it's a bad day. I always laugh at my husband because he's so great. You know, I can come home and I'd say, oh, this bad thing happened and this was bad and this person did this. And his answer is like, you were right in every single situation. And then I go, okay, all right. And then I'm over it. You know what I mean? Like you just need somebody to be on your side. And so surround yourself with cheerleaders. And then when you're young, really be bold and spirited enough to apply for the jobs that you don't think you're ever going to get. You know, take chances, because that's the time to do that. You know, move. If a company asks you to relocate, do that while you're young and take those chances and adventures, because it will help you in your career in the long run. And I think, like I said, when I applied for the job, you know, I wasn't applying for a leasing position. I was applying for an advertising, but because I thought I could do it, I just did it. You know, and so I ended up moving. I was in Charlotte for a couple of years with the company, and then I moved to Columbus, Ohio. And I did that when I was young, you know. And then really lastly, you know, as you grow your career, be humble, because there will be so many people along the way that will give you chances, and you're going to be the mentor to somebody who needs guidance. And the people that support you have the opportunity to support really anybody. And they choose you to, to support. And, you know, they're going to take a chance on you when they come work with you or follow you from company to company. So you start out one way, which is, you know, a little bit cocky and adventurous, and you end up another way, you know, as you evolve. And I think that's true of life. But for a career, you know, I think it's important, and really stick with what you're naturally good at. And I tell my daughter that. She's a web developer, and she loves it. I mean, I would not want to sit with, you know, headphones on all day and stare at a computer. But she's great at it.
That's awesome.
And she loves it. So that's what she's great at, and she'll hopefully stick with that job for a long time.
And if she doesn't, you know, just like you evolved, even though it was the same industry, you evolved in different positions, and you grew, you took a chance to try something else. I mean, it's ever changing. So, you know, nothing wrong with changing things up, you know, even if it's within your own industry. It's definitely something that can be exciting. As we both know, plenty of people have gone from management side to supplier side and back, and vice versa, but all within the same industry.
Absolutely.
Great advice. And I agree with all of it. I know that nobody has said anything about relocation, but I highly believe in if the job takes you there, go for it. Because especially when you're young, because you can't do it later. So
that is true. I mean, I did it when I had just gotten married, and there was a manager's position with Summit in Columbus, Ohio. I'm like, we had a dog, and you know, I mean, I was like,
that's it.
I wanted to be a manager so bad, and I was like, this is my chance to do it. And my husband quit his job and found a job up in Columbus, Ohio. We lived there for 5 years, you know.
Awesome.
So, but now when I took this job, there was an opportunity for me to move down to Miami, which is where the company started. And I'm like, my kids were in high school at the time, you know, I'm like, I can't do it now, you know, but you know, 20 years ago, that was easy.
Yeah. I mean, but you could stand by and say, hey, look, because once you become that parent, you have more than just you and your significant other or your animal to think about. So you have to really, you know, so good for you, because it is definitely something that I know people can struggle with when, do I really relocate? Do I not relocate? You know?
Right.
Okay. So tell the listeners how they can get a hold of you if they're interested in learning more about you, or even learning more about our KW Residential.
Sure. I mean, I think the best way is to go to our website. I mean, rkwresidential.com. I'm pretty much an open book. I mean, I am on LinkedIn, RKW's on LinkedIn, and those would be great ways to connect.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Marcie, for your time. I appreciate it. I definitely have enjoyed this, and I'm glad that we got to get it on the calendar and get it recorded, because your busy schedule, I'm so appreciative that we're able to do this. So
No, I'm just happy that you asked. I was happy to be on the list to be
Aw.
able to get an invite. So that
Aw.
was a treat.
Well, thank you. And thank you, listeners. Remember to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, iTunes channel, Anchor, or go download it on your Amazon Alexa. Plus, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those great places. Until next week, stay positive, and remember, sharing is caring, everyone. Have a great one.